Hello and welcome to Modern Toyfare News, the weekly show that talks about toys. I am your host, Mr. Modern Toyfare, and I am joined by the man that Modern Toyfare has majority custody over, one of the hosts of the Figuratively Speaking podcast, Nate. How are you this week, Nate?
I'm great. I have not had that good of an entrance in at least 3 weeks. So
I feel like it's been 4, but who's counting?
I cannot.
Man, yeah. So it's been a hot minute. We've missed you. April was a long month, 5 weeks instead of 4. So
Yeah. I kept thinking, I was like, am I on? Am I on? And then I was like, no,
oh yeah,
I'm
me
not.
and the missus got in a whole argument over it because I was just like, I want to make sure someone shows up the last week of April. I need to know if I need to check in on Nate or if you're going to be there. And he got all sorts up in a twist about it, and it was just like, okay,
Yeah,
as long as you show up, I don't fucking care. I just wanted to know.
right.
But if you're new to the show, the way it works is we break down the weekly news that I've deemed worthy of the next hour of your life. We take you through our weekly purchases and send you on our merry way. Before we get started, though, make sure if you want to see more weekly toy news and even toy reviews, hit that subscribe button and even hit the little bell to get notifications when our video goes up. But we're going to start off this week the same way we do pretty much every week, and that is with Mcfarlane. And so after weeks, and I mean weeks, of not a lot of news coming from McFarlane, we finally got
Yeah,
some official solicitations from the DC Multiverse line at least. This week, we got a look at the gold label Unmasked Red Hood, which will be exclusive to Walmart. We got a look at the Injustice Flash white variant and the Injustice Dr. Fate. No dates or pre-orders yet, and of course, it wouldn't be McFarlane without some leaks. We got some new Witcher and Warhammer figures via the backs of some box art. For The Witcher, we are getting Ciri and then the already leaked Geralt in his wolf armor. And then from Warhammer 40k, we're getting Necron Flayed One, Necron Flayed One Artist Proof, and the previously leaked Adepta Sororitas Battle Sister of the Bloody Rose. With these in-hand shots, I have to assume solicitations will be coming in the very near future. I'm just going to start off with Unmasked Red Hood. Looks like young Charlie Sheen if he was a downloadable character in Kingdom Hearts.
that was oddly specific,
Well,
and yet, yeah,
yeah, like his face is very much Charlie Sheen, but then his sword with the fire just looks like a keyblade.
mm-hmm.
It looks like
Yes,
some
it does.
anime keyblade, and I can't unsee it.
Yes. Yeah, no, the far and away winner here is Dr. Fate. That thing is amazing.
Yeah, they
I have
killed it.
not been getting many of these, but I've always loved Dr. Fate as a character, and I think that looks incredible.
Yeah, they knocked it out of the park with that one. Only thing I wish they would have done is I feel like he needed some sort of energy, like symbol effects or something, right?
Yes. Yeah, but it's not typically what McFarlane does. That the fact that we're getting the stand with this, I think is about as far as we're gonna get.
I mean, I wouldn't get
But
too excited with that stand. If it's anything like the one that came with Scarecrow, it's dog shit. So
if it's got to be like the one also that came with Wonder Woman, then it
yeah,
was awful too.
yeah.
So the Flash is all right, or what I've considered. I've seen it listed as cash point
Hmm.
Flash, and hey, we're getting more use out of that tooling. Whatever you need to do, if it's not for you, it's not for you. It's definitely not for me.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like White Power Flash looks cool, uh, but he's just not for me. I do wish like if you're gonna reuse that sculpt, easy winner, Reverse Flash. Like he's
Hmm.
in the fucking game with him. His costume's almost
Hmm.
identical. You just have to change some colors, flip that symbol, and you're done.
Yep, and
Why
it's a
the
different character, and you'll get more people to buy it. I think.
Yeah, versus this weird like whited out Flash. I get it. Like I have Injustice. I play it. That you can go and change all the colors and make them look cool. I just feel like out of all of them, the white and gray variant, not the go to for me.
Right. Yeah. Definitely not for me either. As far as The Witcher goes, they look cool. I I sort of was hoping that we were going to get something based on the show at some point this far out, but I mean, I still think they're cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a huge attachment to the game or the books, or even really honestly the show either. Even so,
You just want that Henry Cavill and his long, glorious
yeah,
white hair.
yeah, yeah. Any Henry Cavill I can add to the shelves is always okay.
I do. We are supposed to get the Netflix ones. I assume they'll probably be announced closer to like when Comic-Con would have been, because I think it was a month or so ago that we talked about the listings for them overseas being leaked. So that means they've got to be on the conveyor belt somewhere in the line of things that we know exist but haven't seen yet, which just keeps piling. We have more things that we know exist for McFarlane but haven't seen than we do figures that Mafex has shown off and actually put out.
Are you sure? Because they've shown a lot that they haven't put out.
I just feel like it's getting pretty long, man. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got two new Mafex figures on pre-order within the last few months, and they were like, January and February of next year, and I was like, I won't see these before 2023, so I'm not worried about it.
That's reasonable. I mean, hey, it has nothing to do with McFarlane, but someone overseas has the Dark Knight Returns Joker in hand, so he's got to be coming soon. So that's a plus.
Very good.
There's your Mafex news for the week, because there ain't any in the rest of the show. So spoiler alert there.
That's all we had.
Moving on though,
Three people just left.
I wish it was only 3. In Mezco news, we got another surprise Rumble Society drop this week for the very exclusive Krig the Pale. And Krig not only sold out fast, but he also was removed from the site completely until being waitlisted the next morning. However, while he was away, we did get more pre-orders for the previously Toyfare exclusive Black Spartan Krig, who also sold out relatively quickly, but not quite as fast as his pale buddy. Both included alternate hands, unmasked head, blasters, some weird sword thingy, a taser, some energy effects, cloak, grenades, light up features, and display stands. Both were $95 shipping this month. And then later in the week, we did finally get pre-orders for the new X-Men Bishop figure that was shown at one of the Con at Home events last year. Bishop comes with alternate hands, alternate heads, blasters, grenades, a detonator, energy effects, knife, cloak, and display stand. Bishop is $90 on Entertainment Earth, shipping in November. The link for pre-orders is in the description below. So these surprise exclusive drops are cool but annoying.
Right. Exactly. Because I would have loved to have gotten Mosquatch and some of the other ones that have come out, but it's almost like you have to be part of that Rebel Society club. You have to keep up on all these tips, which, I mean, is cool and fun and it makes it exclusive, but it is pretty difficult for anybody on the outside to get in on it, because this thing looks really super cool too. I love the cloak with the number 5 on it across it. I think that looks really neat. And yeah, that one from last week was amazing. But yeah, these are coming fast and furious, and it's almost like, like I said, if you're not in this club, you don't know when to get them. So that's really disappointing in that aspect.
Yeah, I will say, if you join the Mezco Facebook groups, that's how I get them, because I don't get any of these emails. It's usually I'm in the groups and someone posts, hey, I got this email, it's going up tomorrow, blah, 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 but we never know what it is for the most part. Like, every now and then, because of the comics that they put with the releases, sometimes we get at least like a hint of like, hey, it's probably going to be Mosquatch, or hey, it's going to be a Secret Agent Gomez or something, or it's going to be a ninja, like all sorts of things like that, but it's never like solidified. So you have to like make sure you're ready at the right time, all for a chance to get something that you might not even want.
Right.
So it's
right.
It's a cool idea, but it's so impractical, because so many people, especially at the time they put it up 1 Eastern. So 1 p.m. Eastern time, most adults are working.
Right.
And not a lot of people have the ability to just stop working to go pre-order toys without losing their job to then pay for those toys. So it's kind of just annoying in that sense, and which is why a lot of people miss out, and then they get mad, and it just causes chaos. And then flippers put these up for like hundreds of dollars more than retail. I will say I missed out on the Pale Krig. I was on the fence about it, and I didn't shit or get off the pot quick enough, and it sold out. I did get in on the second pre-order for the Black Krig, just because why not? I'm gonna get Bishop, 100%. Actually,
You are going to get Bishop.
Yeah, I've already pre-ordered him. I used our affiliate link, and it's that way. Hopefully, if that works, we get at least something out of it. I will tell you, hit me up in September because I may have a second Mosquatch.
Oh.
Because I got one initially, and
okay.
then I was like, fuck, maybe I should get a second one. But then it sold out, but then they put it for the wait list, so I did the wait list because I'm like, oh, fuck it. If it converts, it doesn't charge me until it ships.
Right.
My wait list converted instantly. So I should have a second one come September, so I'll hook you up.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love that. But yeah, the Bishop is cool. I do feel like we saw him a while ago.
It was almost a year, because I want to say it was for Comic-Con San Diego.
Okay, and this is one of those ones where I struggle with, because, like, you know, the last time I was on, we talked about that amazing Wolverine that you literally talked me into ordering while we were on. This one is so this is probably one of the more Mezco-fied ones they've done in a while, and I guess I'm not sure how to feel about it. On one hand, I love it, but on the other hand, I'm like, well, it doesn't look like the Bishop I know. But then I got to get out of that head space and just love it for what it is. But I think it's awesome that you're getting it.
This is one of the few where, like, the Mezco-ness works in its favor. Because, I mean, you can only do so many dudes just in spandex before it gets old. So true. Him coming from the future and all of that, so that armor kind of makes sense, especially like the future's like apocalyptic and everything with like Days of Future Past where they're fighting the Sentinels. So it makes sense for him to have like some sort of battle armor. So I can kind of forgive it because it's practical and it doesn't stray far enough from the character for me to be like, I don't know, because like he still has those yellow stripes down his leg. Still has the M on his face. He's still like, there's still a lot of aspects that are there. I wish I might, because I know the type of cloak they're using for him, because it's the one that came with the ninjas. I'm hoping I can fold it up enough that it can turn it more into a scarf, because I don't like that it's a full cloak. I feel like that's a little too far away from what I'd want. Or I can just cut it up and make it into a scarf, one way or the other.
You definitely could. You definitely could. I mean, it's definitely, like I said, it's a cool figure, and it comes with a lot, especially for like that 99. You know, you didn't go over 100, which is awesome. I think anytime that we get under 100 at this point, we should feel
grateful.
Happy. Yeah, and so I dig some of the effects that it comes with, and so I won't be getting it. You can't get me on this one, but it does look cool.
I can't blame you. It's not redone Wolverine cool. Like that Wolverine is spot on with what it needed to be. This is still in that Mez era of things before they started like kind of slowly going more to actual comic book looks again. I will say the energy effects with the Krig are like 90% of what sold me on finally getting it.
Yeah, those are extensive. Yeah. Those things are awesome.
I'm just like, all the pretty colors. I'm like, okay. Click.
Yep.
Because I think let me see. I think it's is it the taser effect? The littler one, isn't it green? I'll have everything up in front of me. Let's see. Yeah, the taser effect, the like medium sized one's green. So I'm like, that I can just get it to Batman and can be like an anti-Superman taser.
Yeah, you should have those for your friends.
Exactly. You never know when they're gonna go rogue, and
that's right.
Oh man. So moving on, Super7 finally are hitting us up with Wave 2 of the Disney Ultimates line. We are getting Robin Hood with the disguised Robin Hood. We are getting Alice in Wonderland Alice. We're getting Alice in Wonderland Mad Hatter. And I'm going to probably butcher this because I don't know how to pronounce it. Hyacinth Hippo? Okay, well, she's from Fantasia.
It's the Lady Hippo.
Yeah, it's the Lady Hippo from Fantasia. That's how I know her. I didn't know she had a name. So Hippo from Fantasia would have been more than enough to to
there's no talking in that movie.
yeah.
So
So where they're getting this name, I'm like, okay, apparently good old Walt must have put that on old Twitter. You can pre-order them on Entertainment Earth for $54.99, shipping in June of next year. Link will be in the description below. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pre-ordering Robin Hood. I don't know if I'm sold on the other three though.
No, when season one was or series one was
Season
announced last year, I instantly pre-ordered all three, and then like the more I thought about it, I was like, as cool as it is, I don't need Pinocchio. Like it looks neat, it looks like Pinocchio, but at the end of the day, it is Pinocchio, and I don't need that. And then I opted not to go with the Magician's Apprentice, even though that is really cool. It was a really cool idea and a neat way to do it. But I had to keep that King John or Prince John in that Prince John because I knew Robin Hood was coming and seeing it there. So I'm absolutely getting Robin Hood. I had forgotten this was the disguise. My wife loves this movie, so I was getting these more for her than anything. But I really need to go back and watch it because I probably haven't seen it since I was like 8. This is one of these ones that they used to have, like, I kid you not, I'm old enough that they used to actually have films on reel to reel that they would show in the cafeteria and gymnasium in elementary school. And like that's like probably the last time I saw it. And
wow.
I should rectify that.
Yeah, you definitely should. It's such a good movie. But yeah, the second that they did the tease for the disguise version, I'm like, is this supposed to be alternate parts, or are they legit about to hit us with just this disguised version? So I'm happy that it wasn't the case, and we are getting it's. I find it weird. It's 2 different figures though, but I guess it's kind of hard to make that into like just a change up.
Well, it's even better because I mean Robin Hood's not huge anyway. So to get like 2 kind of packed in figures in that set is really awesome, and that way you can kind of display them in 2 different areas if you want to. Because I feel like that they're kind of gonna. I mean, they're definitely gonna give us. I mean, I only know him as Baloo.
I know what you're.
Little John.
Little John.
Whatever they call him.
I'm not gonna lie. I have to have him because like Jungle Book's my favorite movie, like Disney movie.
Yeah.
So like Baloo has to be a must buy for me, even if he is technically not Baloo.
A different character, but he looks the same. He's a little bit different color. Yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah.
He was in Witness Relocation for a while, or that's what happened when he got out of the whole situation with Robin Hood.
Yeah, he had to go lay low,
live in the jungle. Yeah, and then he started Tailspin once he was free.
Yeah, man, makes sense. It's all comes full circle,
comes together. But yeah, the Robin Hood will be mine. The rest, no, thank you.
Yeah, like
but the Alice in Wonderlands are cool.
They are really cool. I like some of the accessories, especially Mad Hatter with like the soft goods coat, and then the 3 spouted teapot, like that kind of stuff's really cool. I don't have a huge attachment to Alice in Wonderland. If anything, I have a negative attachment because I remember as a kid getting Kingdom Hearts 1 and I couldn't figure out how the fuck to get through the first level, which was Alice in Wonderland. So like I have a negative like idea of Alice in Wonderland from that.
That game was unnecessarily hard.
It was, especially considering like when you have Disney characters in it, that shit's gonna be marketed towards kids. And like I was like, I don't get why I can't figure this out. I play other video games that I can beat them.
Yeah. I remember the level against Ursula was just no.
I'm like
I don't even know if I ever got past that.
I grew up with I grew up in like with N64, so like I was used to like, relatively difficult games that you had to like. I mean, hell, I played fucking Majora's Mask. Like, come on now. And Kingdom Hearts, I didn't beat it until way later, like when I was a teenager, because I just couldn't get past the stupid Alice in Wonderland shit. So that just like makes me just not want to get her or
so
Mad
by
Hatter.
that point alone, you're like, no.
Yeah, I was like, she can go fuck herself.
I
did keep Sorcerer Mickey. I have him in Prince John
Okay.
still going.
Yeah, I might waver and if it's still available to go back and pre-order the or the Magician's Mickey, I might just because that is one of the coolest versions of Mickey
Yeah,
Mouse.
I mean it's him
So
with a,
I don't need
cool
anything else
hat and
from
cloak.
Fantasia, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get to. Is I like I have no need for this hippo. It's such an odd choice. Like
It's very
when
odd.
they announced this line, I was like they're either gonna go one of two ways. Either they're gonna continue with X amount of figures per each property they're doing, and then move on, or they're going to bounce around and then it's going to drive the completionists who want the other characters to go with these characters crazy. Well, it seems like
Yep.
they're doing both because they're going to
Yep.
have one that's going to be a main state like Disney movie that's like from that age that everybody loves, and
Yep.
then everything else is going to be continuing the other ones, which I like and don't like because Fantasia should not have been one of those that got continued.
I don't think so either. I agree. I don't I don't know anyone, and this is me again picking on people of a certain age, and I'm already old, but uh, the people who loved Fantasia are no longer with us. I'm sorry.
Well, so here's the thing. Like, I have a lot of friends who are huge Disney fans. Like, I,
Right,
I
right.
have a few friends who are couples and they go to Disney World regularly,
Sure.
multiple times a year. And I only one out of all of them is interested in any of these. And in the first wave, it was Prince John and it was the um, Pinocchio, but they didn't want Pinocchio. They wanted the cat. Geppetto or whatever. No, not Geppetto. That's the old man. What's the cat's name?
Figaro.
Figaro. Don't know why. Apparently, that's a big deal to like hardcore Disney fans. But Figaro is like, I need him. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm sure you could find like a tiny figurine and not spend $55, but you do you.
Yeah.
I assume I know for a fact because I sent them the link already. They're gonna get Robin Hood, but I don't think they have any interest in any of the other ones. So it
Right.
like even them being hardcore like fans aren't interested in the other characters in the wave. So it kind of just
Yeah.
they're really well done. And if I was a hardcore Disney fan, that I'd be like, yeah, I'll fucking buy every wave every
Oh,
time.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But I have way too much other shit to keep up on to justify
Yep.
spending $50 a pop for characters that I'm not invested in, or
Yep.
characters who ruined my childhood.
Yes.
But they're still great. I think out of them, as far as quality wise, I feel like Mad Hatter steals it.
He looks really good. Yeah.
Like,
I honestly, if you want to go straight quality it's the hippo. The hippo looks incredible. It's an awesome looking figure if you like a feminized hippopotamus dancer. I feel like I should point out that I don't, but I do think that's probably the best looking figure of the whole group. So
I don't wrong.
do with that what you will.
It's really cool looking. I just it's a fucking dancing hippo, and they gave it a name, and like you said, no one fucking talks in that movie. So like,
Yeah, no one likes Fantasia. You can appreciate it, you can respect it. No one likes it.
I'll say this: if you like Fantasia, you don't like the movie, you like the show at Disney.
Yeah, of course. That's incredible.
Yeah, 100% what it is. Keeping the ball rolling, though, some new in-hand photos of the upcoming Masters of the Universe Revelations line have been floating around the interwebs. We have inbox looks at He-Man, Skeletor, Evil Lyn, and Mossman. No official word from Mattel yet, but I have to assume they're going to be coming soon at this point. So you're our Motu guy. So where do you stand on these? Like,
I'm gonna buy them. And two, I am interested to see them. I can't wait to see better pictures, better res images. The box gave us a really good look at some of the accessories because I think up until this point we didn't even know that Evil Lyn was going to come with her more classic head. So we get the classic head and the unhelmeted head, which is great. From what I can tell, these look pretty good. They are not Masters of the Universe classics. Again, they look more along the lines of Mattel's DC Universe kind
mm-hmm.
of style of stuff, which is fine. It's that their version of the 6-inch figure, so I'm down with that. I'd like to see a trailer for the show ultimately, though, whether I like the show doesn't matter. It's new Motu figures that I'm gonna get, and I'm gonna buy them no matter what. But I really would like to get more details as far as when they're coming, how they're coming. I'm assuming they're not going to be retail exclusive. Please don't let them be retail
Target
exclusives.
exclusive, calling it.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, if nothing else, I can deal with it if it's that stupid timed, Walmart thing like Origins was last year. But anything else, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Soon tight.
Yeah, thank you.
I will say, looking at these, just from what I can tell in the box, they look like updated versions of like the Maddie Classics line that they had like a long time ago, like back in the early 2000s, I think, or was it?
Oh, the 2000X.
Yeah, like they look a
Stuff.
lot like those, but maybe with updated articulation, because it looks like instead of having the ab crunch, they have like the cutout rib cage, so you have more of that swivel.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that means that they're going to be a lot more articulated than what Motu fans are used to, even with
Yeah.
like Super 7 and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would be down for it. Like I said, I just want to see good high res images and see what. I just want to know what the future of the line looks like, because I think like the addition of Mossman is a really strange thing to put in Wave One. I mean, Mossman is not known as a huge character across any era of Masters of the Universe, so that was a weird choice, but I'm all for it.
I
Like,
mean,
is that how we're gonna go? We're gonna keep doing deep cuts,
doesn't
or is this
every
line
like retail toy line have to have that one kind of dud where it's like the hardcore collectors have to have them, but most people are like, eh.
Yeah, it's gonna be just a wall of Mossmen.
So that's what's gonna be though. Is they're gonna have a case of 6. You're gonna have 2 Mossmen, 2 of He-Man, and then 1 of Skeletor and Evelyn.
Yeah.
That's,
Thanks, Mattel.
or worse, 3 Mossman, and then 1 of each of the
Tree
rest.
Mossman.
They're like, everyone wants that flocked goodness.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, I'm hoping we're getting something good.
Yeah. Hopefully, like you said, hopefully it's not exclusives. But I mean, if we're talking exclusives, then we might as well move on to the next story, and that is Hiya Toys announced its PX Previews San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Robocop 2 variant figure. So he is currently up for pre-order on Entertainment Earth for $19.99, shipping in September. Link is going to be in the description below. This confuses me on like multiple platforms here. So we're 2 months away from when, well, more than like 2.5 months away from when Comic-Con would normally take place. And they've already announced this. They've put it with PX previews, which is fine. Other Comic-Con exclusives have been going up with PX previews in the past just to make it so comic book shops get them. But the shipping September. So they announced it before Comic-Con, ship after Comic-Con, ship before when Comic-Con's now going to take place. There's just no rhyme or reason to it.
Nope. They know what they're doing. That's fine. I don't know a lot of people who buy these. I've drifted so far away from the 1/18th scale, especially when stuff like RoboCop and Predator and Alien have been done by NECA and other companies, at a much larger scale. So I'm all for people who want them and like them. Cool, if this is what you want. But yeah, the whole previews San Diego exclusive after Labor Day.
I like it after Labor Day. Yeah, I don't know anyone who collects them, and I keep trying to convince my cousin Jake to buy some of the Aliens ones just so I can see what they look like quality-wise, because in the pictures, they all look stunning for the size and everything and articulation and all that. But, I mean, the figure you use for the glamour photos is just like the Big Mac you see in the commercials. It's always going to look more appetizing than what you actually get. So I genuinely want to see these, and I've never seen one in person. And I feel like this one is super cool. Like, that paint job just really looks cool. I almost wish I was a RoboCop guy, because then I'd be like, fuck it, this will be the one where I finally get to see what this looks like in person, because I'll spend $20 and get RoboCop. But yeah, that was, I've seen RoboCop, but it was before my time, so I don't appreciate it like a lot of people do.
It should have before my time, but I was like 10 when it came out, and I saw it and thought it was amazing. But it's probably the most violent movie I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, that was basically the 80s, though. Is take your kids
No,
to see the most violent, fucked up movies possible, and hopefully they'll turn out
cartoons
fine.
and toys out of them. Yeah. I do, because I gotta say I love the fact that they're using the RoboCop 2 art on the card itself, because I love that teaser poster image. I have 2 Hiya toys. They're the same figure essentially. It was for the Injustice 2. They did a Harley Quinn release, so I got the
Oh,
2
those are
different color
those tiny
variations
ones.
they did. Yeah, those are
Okay.
Hiya. So they are 1/18 scale, but they do run smaller than even what we're used to with like GI Joe or even
Oh
Fortnite or
yeah,
something like that.
because I have seen those in person. Those are super tiny. Because I was
Yeah,
at a shop down in Phoenix a few months back, and I remember seeing the tiny Injustice figures. I'm like, oh, those are so cool. But like, I'm guessing it's probably they haven't been in production for a while, but they wanted like 40 or $50 for most of them.
mm,
And they didn't have any characters that was like, that's the character I want. Like, they had Bane, Harley Quinn, and I want to say Superman. And I'm like,
yeah,
I like Bane. He's definitely, one of the top villains in my mind, but I don't really care for the design and Injustice for Bane, so it wasn't like I
right.
need it. Um, but I was just like, man, this is super impressive for that size, and like I would love for a company to make figures that size, and then we actually get good looking vehicles for them that don't take up the entire room. Like that'd be so
Yeah,
cool. But unfortunately, the toy gods don't love anything except for GI Joe and Star Wars at that size.
yeah, and they don't typically like GI Joe at that size either, so
True.
they don't get made. And some would even argue that a lot of people don't like Star Wars at that size anymore either. But then you have a lot of people that argue that they do, but then no one buys them, and then it's a whole thing.
Yeah, but I feel like that's with Star Wars fans in general anymore. Uh, Moving on, though, Tamashii Nations have put up pre-orders for the next premium Bandai exclusive SH Figures Dragon Ball Z figure, and it is Namek Bulma. She is $62 on the premium Bandai site, shipping in November. So this kind of leaked a week or so ago.
Hmm.
So we kind of already had ideas. Some people said, "Oh, it's fake. Oh, it's fake," and then literally the same pictures, just in better quality, came out like yesterday.
Yep.
So I'm gonna get her because I want the Dragon Ball. I don't have a need. Like Bulma's obviously a key character in the series for a large portion of it, but I don't need it.
You know, I'm a big Bulma fan. Like because I love the original series more than anything, and
Mm-hmm.
I love the progression, and I love that she is and considers to be a main character throughout the entire series, even though she technically has no power.
Mm-hmm.
Even I'm like, wow, another Bulma in the line. Like I'm genuinely shocked. We've gotten, I mean, we're counting the event exclusive. We've had 3 in the Dragon Ball line, and we have 1 in the Z line. Have we had one, or is this
I don't
the
think
only
this is the
one?
first one in Z.
This will be the first one. Okay. So I mean, that's a little bit justified in that we get 1 in the Z era. But I do think it's kind of like surprising that we've gotten this many. I'm definitely getting it, of course, but I do think the figure looks great. It's spot on. I'll be curious to see, how they continue with this series out, with this Namek saga. Are we going to get like a really fly looking Krillin in his travel outfit, or are they going to give us the Saiyan battle armor version of
Oh,
Krillin, which
dude, don't
is
tease
that
me.
most of us want? I mean,
I'd
let's
love
be
to get
honest.
him and
That's
Gohan in the Saiyan armor.
oh, I mean, I feel like it's too early for another Gohan, but
It's never too early.
that would be a cool like they Premium Bandai can do a cool 2-pack. I can't believe they haven't done a 2-pack, especially with like Goten and Trunks. Like that seems to be like the way to go.
I think the problem is because I mean clearly like yeah the cost is a little lower for the smaller characters. Like Gohan was what 65 or something like that when he was on Premium
Hmm.
Bandai, so it is lower. But I feel like then you're getting into the $120 or more range, probably more because you're gonna need alternate heads because everyone's gonna want them in regular hair and Super Saiyan hair. And they
Right.
already have a hard enough time of people bitching and moaning about them being $80 or $90. So you ask them to
People are
pay
gonna bitch and moan no matter what.
yeah, it's gonna pay 140 for a 2-pack of them, and the fucking internet's gonna just explode. Don't get me wrong, I would get it. Like I love like I'm with you. Majin Buu saga, my favorite
Mm-hmm.
saga. I accept that Frieza Saga is probably probably the like pillar when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, but the Buu Saga is where it's at for me.
Oh,
So
I'm the exact same way. It's like, yeah, we all know Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie, but I'm gonna watch Return of the Jedi because that's the one I have the most fun with, and that's the same thing with this Frieza. Yes, that's the best one, but Boo is where all the crazy, just balls to the wall, dumbass shit happens, and you're
right,
like, yeah, this is great.
yeah. I mean, you get
This
fucking
villain is turning people into cookies.
yeah.
Okay, that's where that's just like pretty much where it starts. You know, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I love it. So I'd kill to get, you know, Kid Trunks, Kid Goten. As far as a Boma, like if there was a Boma I would get, I feel like I'd probably consider future Boma, like from the Trunks timeline,
Mm-hmm.
where her
Mm-hmm.
hair's a little longer, she looks a little older, a little rougher because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
shit hit the fan. In her lab coat, like something like that, just so you have something to put with like either of the future Trunks that we've gotten. Because obviously, yeah, they've been sticking pretty heavily to the Namek saga with this premium Bandai line.
Right.
Um, they're starting to slowly move into Android saga with the addition of Tien and Chaozu, which makes me wonder how much longer. If I assume we're for sure getting to Doria, I have to assume
Mm-hmm.
Zarbon won't be far behind. I'm curious if after that they jump ahead and start doing more of the reissued upgraded characters, or if maybe we get I hope we get at least version 2 Frieza. Like I don't need version 3 pillar head. I just need
Right.
giant massive has Krillin stuck on his head going ride him cowboy. I need that. I need that
Right.
Frieza.
Yeah. I could definitely go with that. Yeah, that's for sure. But I don't know that I could do the other ones.
Yeah. Like version 3 Frieza, it's just he's a little too ugly for me at that point. I'd get him
Yeah.
just so I have all 4 because I'd
Right.
probably then break down and hunt down gold, but I don't really need it. Um, but I really just I loved version 2 Frieza.
Now let me ask you this, because all of the event exclusives or San Diego exclusives have always been different color variations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how would you feel if they took like a Piccolo body and made like a nail and made that as a San Diego exclusive? Do you think that would be too far to go with a completely different character, or does that fit within the same realm? Because you're mostly using the same parts. You may change the face a little bit, and then obviously you're going to change some
You'd
colors.
have to change the chest because Nail doesn't wear a shirt.
Oh, that's right. It's
Yeah,
been a while. It's
Nail's
been a
completely
while.
shirtless. See, it's fresh for me because
But
I've
I'm
been
sure they've
rewatching it
got
all.
those parts.
But
Yeah.
yeah, he's completely shirtless. He just has the like weird poofy collar and pants.
I'm sure they
I'd be
could
down
figure
for
that
a
out.
Nail. Like I wouldn't be against it. I feel
But
like
like as an exclusive or an event kind of thing instead of a regular release.
I don't see them doing it just because they seem to always pick popular
Okay.
characters that they because most of the time, like for instance, last year it was the androids that everyone had been wanting because they skyrocketed, and then it was the newer like black-haired version of Ultra Instinct, the Sign version. So I feel like he's a little too far off. I feel like he'd probably end up Bandai exclusive because he's one of those characters
Okay.
where
Yeah.
made to order would work perfect because they don't get stuck with a bunch of stock that they then have to try to give away on Bluefin in random bundles, like the Kid
Right.
Goku that's been on there
Mhm.
for 2 years or 3 years, however long it's been.
Mhm. Mhm.
I feel like if I was gonna get another Piccolo mold, I'd want him just to like alter a little bit and give me a battle damaged one.
Yeah.
Give me more battle damage figures in general. Like I've got 2 battle damage Gokus. Technically, there's a third one if you count Awakening, and then I've got Jiren. Beyond that,
Yeah.
there's
I
not
mean, they
much.
really could do a lot more, even if they made those even premium Bandai exclusives too,
Mm-hmm.
to make more of a battle damage versions of a lot of the different things with very minimal
Yeah, because the arms and stuff for the
retooling.
most part would be the same. Because I mean, maybe you could put some lines in it, but you don't color the lines in, so who cares? If Piccolo doesn't have
Right.
some scratch marks on him, I'm not gonna fucking piss and moan. I'm more concerned about having like half his shirt ripped, have like chunks of his like pants at the knee like torn and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I want. I want some battle damage figures because these like nice neat figures on my shelf pose fighting, just it's like, okay, I guess you guys just ain't really doing nothing to each other.
Yep, it's the beginning of the fight.
Yeah. So that's what I want to see. I want a more. I want a goddamn battle damaged Vegeta in any form.
Yeah, I would love to. Before this is all out, I would love to get a Namek version of Vegeta as well, just with
Mm-hmm.
that, with the shortened versions of the Saiyan battle armor that always looked black
Yeah.
to me. I know it was still blue, but it looked
Oh,
black when they
I
were
don't
on
care what they
Namek.
say. They fucking made that shit black. They made it
Yeah,
so midnight blue that you have to completely turn the saturation up to like 200% to tell that's blue. Like
yeah.
it's obscene. But here's the question: do you want him just normal garb, or do you want the giant hole in his chest from when he gets wished back by the dragon?
That would be the event exclusive.
There you go. All you have to do is retool the chest, and because realistically, yeah, his clothes are a little raggedy, but they're not torn anywhere, so you can get away with it.
Yeah, Tamashi, you just send us comp copies and
Yeah, just
we'll
send
be
us.
okay.
Yeah, send us early too, so I can review them and we can actually
Yeah,
get some views on the channel for a change. Um, I feel like we've completely gone off the rails. We went from Bulma
I'm
to
bringing them back in.
bringing him back in. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's time to close out the news then with Hasbro, who had a
Hasbro.
pretty big week. So, starting with Marvel Legends fans, we are getting an MCU version of Quicksilver. Pietro is available on Entertainment Earth for $26.99, shipping in August. Then, for Joe fans, Hasbro put out a tweet saying, Major Blood continues his quest to hit shelves around the world. Stay tuned for Yo Joe. June in a few weeks for more news, which I think this was supposed to be Tune, but they put June, which makes no sense. So tune in a few weeks for more news and product reveals, including the official U.S. release date of G.I. Joe's classified series Major Blood. This is seemingly trying to put out all the fires that were started due to one going up on eBay for thousands of dollars, and then another one randomly showing up at Robo from Fuchsia's doorstep, getting him a shit ton of heat and anger from the internet, which baffles me.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Dude literally gets a figure sent to him, and people lose their mind.
Yeah, and it wasn't even from Hasbro. It was just a random thing that showed up
No,
as PO box. So it's not like
somebody
he got it
sent it
early.
to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like he doesn't even know who sent it. It's obscene, but yeah, so that was a wild ride. But it would not be Star Wars week without a bunch of Vintage Collection and Black Series news, right?
let's go back for a second. Let's unpack this, and then we'll do Star Wars.
Okay.
So, because there's a couple things in there. So, one, I love the idea of the Pietro. I love that we're following in the same vein of the Thor packaging. So it's
Mm-hmm.
this new Infinity Saga packaging. It's not part of a wave. They're seemingly fan channel type exclusives, picking up on characters that have been left behind in the movies. Love it. Hope we get a Malekith next time. I don't love the price. And that's across the board. I mean,
Yeah.
Entertainment Earth, $26.99, Big Bad Toy Store, $27.99, I believe. So Hasbro is pushing that price point up. So it was to be expected. And if this is the only way that we're going to be able to get some of these one-off characters by paying a little bit more for it, I for one am all for it. The MCU is my favorite part of Marvel Legends, although I collect them all. I love the MCU part, and they've only been getting better. So I'm excited about this program, and I'm excited to see it continue. It's just a little bit rougher,
Yeah.
but
Rougher
you
on
do
the
what you got
wallet.
to do. Yeah. So the whole thing with the Major Blood as well. There is something called Yo Joe June.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's strongly been rumored. So there was an interview a couple weeks ago on the Full Force podcast with some of the design team from Hasbro, and they talked about Yo Joe June, and it was sort of inferred that some of the Target exclusives may see a more of a re-release. So I've also heard rumors. I don't know if this is wishful thinking, but I've also heard rumors of Major Blood being like a surplus amount produced.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very interested to see how this works. I think this whole line has been kind of,
A shit show.
I don't want to say I don't want to say in trouble, because it does very, very well, but it's it only started coming out probably what, May, June of last year. So we're
Yeah,
only
it's
talking a year into the line. It's been almost impossible to find at retail, even in the non-exclusive capacity. I think I saw Wave 1 once. I've seen a few Wave 2 and 3 at various Walgreens of all places. And then the movie getting delayed really ruined things, because I don't know if you noticed, but when they did reveal the movie figures, those numbers that were on the figures are well within the other numbers of the line. So we've actually gone past the point of when those movie figures should have been out. Those actually were going to be sprinkled in. They weren't going to be part of a whole wave to themselves. And that's why people got all mad about, the Hasbro fan event from a couple weeks ago, that the only GI Joe classified that was announced was all movie figures. Well, right now I think that's all they really have to show, because everything else has been shown as it was supposed to have already been coming out. So I hope they fix it. I hope they can make things more available. Getting the Viper and the Firefly on Pulse did not go well. So that's all I have to say about that, I guess.
Yeah, I do feel like putting the ones that went up on Pulse, like Pulse, for like a hot minute there, especially with the pre-orders, because they would always be so far out, felt like it was a Super 7 model where it was like, it's gonna be up for so long, pre-order made to order, that kind of stuff. It was not the case at all of those, because those sold out probably borderline faster than they would have on Target's website.
It was very quick.
Yeah, so like it's one of those things like, who in what world did they were like, this was the great idea, we'll just put a limited amount back up there and people will forgive us? Yeah, that ain't happening, because the ones you put up were still the hot ticket items.
Yep. I still really wonder how much this Target deal helped get the line get made to begin with. I still kind of feel that the Target partnership was what helped get the initial funding for this line to launch, which is why Hasbro's been very hesitant to say anything bad about Target or do anything. But now we're coming up on a year of that exclusivity, so maybe we can start seeing some of like the earlier figures like Baroness and the original Cobra Trooper and Beachhead and things like that get a wider release. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I will say I have seen more. I've seen a couple of them. I don't know who they are because I'm not a Joe guy. I've seen, I think it was her name, Scarlet, the redhead girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then is Beachhead's the black guy, right?
No, that's Roadblock.
Okay, I saw Roadblock. I've seen, I think I've seen the weird hooded guy who can swap his face.
Oh, Zartan. That's a relatively newer one.
Yeah, I've seen him, and then I saw the Cobra Troopers because I got them for you that one time.
The Vipers, yep.
Yeah, the Vipers. And then I saw the newer version of the Cobra Trooper, which I showed you, but you didn't. I don't think you needed them.
No, I got one, and essentially it's the same as the last release, just with a little less accessories. Which I'd like to see that with the Viper too, for regular people to get it.
Yeah,
but
so I've seen some of them in hand, like at my Target, but it's one of those things that there's some characters that will linger, like Roadblock and Scarlet seem to be there for like a week or two at a time because people have already got them.
Well, yeah, those are the redecos, or because those were the Wave 1 figures.
And then like all the other ones, usually I come back the next day and they're gone. So it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, I'm off looking at Turtles, I'll go see if there's anything else in there. Oh, nothing anyone else needs. Okay, moving on. So like they go really, really quickly. But I have seen them, so it's very strange. Like, I don't know if it's just whoever is in charge of like being the liaison with these companies, and Target is just a fucking shitty employee, or if Target's just that out of touch with like, we want to be the new go-to since Toys R Us is gone, and they just don't understand how that works,
right?
Or don't care enough because they don't need the money from it. But it's one of those things where like, oh, but I thought corporations loved money, so more money equals more like everything for them. So I really don't know. Like, because between them and NECA and shit, damn near everyone, any place that has an exclusive with them or Walmart, it's a fucking
It's
nightmare.
tough. Mm-hmm.
So it baffles me. Like,
and it didn't used to be that bad, but
yeah,
I don't know if it's this accelerated, stampede on all things collectible right now, and we have more people in the hobby that shouldn't be, or if it really is, just they're cutting back at orders because they're afraid of sitting on leftover product.
mm-hmm. Which I feel like it has to be that, because I will say a lot of the other lines out there, like Mavel Legends, the Mattel WWE Elite line, like they always have that one or two figures that sit there and sit there and sit there. Mm-hmm. I will say, oddly enough, Black Series doesn't seem to have that problem as much. Like they'll linger a little bit, but they usually sell. But I like both my Walmart and my Target still have Miss Elizabeth figures from the SummerSlam wave of WWE figures that was like back last fall. So that's like 6 months that 4 of those figures have been sitting there. So I can understand the hesitation to an extent, but there comes a point when you see these other lines flying off the shelves regularly, not having peg warmers. Maybe at that point you're like, okay, let's bank it up. Let's order more next time or something like that.
Right.
Or order, because I mean companies do this, because Ringside Collectibles talks about all the time how they will order multiple like shipments after the fact from Mattel of WWE figures, like as the waves come out. So there's no reason they can't be like, hey Hasbro, or hey Mattel, or hey whoever, we would like more of this line, and then they just produce more and ship them to them.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of just confusing on someone in there is not doing their job or doesn't care. There's got to be some cog in the machine that just isn't working or not fitting in the place that it should, essentially.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep going through the Hasbro news here and try to make it a little less depressing for Star Wars fans.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, because even Star Wars fans are pissed at this too, so not even sure why I'm trying. For the Vintage Collection, we are getting a ARC Trooper Echo, Off-World Jawa, Teebo the Ewok, Death Star Droid, Endor Luke, and a Tusken Raider. For our Black Series, we are getting Gaming Greats Flame Trooper, Gaming Greats Knight Brother Warrior, Bad Batch Vice Admiral Rampart, and Imperial Shock Trooper. And then for the retro line, we got a very Voltron-style prototype Rainbow Boba Fett. Any of the pre-order links for all the Hasbro stuff that we have will be in the description below. I've seen people bitching and moaning about the Black Series stuff just because they aren't excited about the Gaming Greats. They wanted to hear more about the Clone Wars figures that are coming out, and I'm like, well, they're coming out. Like, they're on their way to wherever they're destined to target for us not to find. So what's there to tell? They already give us solicitations. There's not, they're not going to be like, hey guys, this is through our Target license, but you can pre-order now. Like,
yeah, I'll say this. I don't have any problem with what they showed. I did think it was lackluster for it being May the 4th.
Yeah,
I kind of thought there might have been a little bit more, because it was very much, it was very heavy with retailer exclusives though, because other than the Echo and the Off-World Jawa, and they showed the Teebo, but only the 2 were available to order. Teebo wasn't available to order. The Death Star Droid and Endor Luke and the Tusken Raider, those are all Walmart exclusives. The Rampart and then the Trooper for Black Series, also Walmart exclusives. And then the 2 Gaming Greats were GameStop exclusives, and then I believe it was Target exclusive for the retro. So I think the Gaming Greats are really cool. These are probably some of the more exciting Gaming Greats that I've seen come out, with the exception, I was really excited about Darth Nihilus coming out, because that was a completely new look character. The rest of them have been kind of mostly just recolored troopers. But I mean, even though this is like a snow trooper body for this flame trooper or whatever it is, I think it's awesome looking. And then the Night Brother, I mean, that's essentially a Savage Opress figure. We just haven't gotten it yet, but that means we're getting one.
Yeah.
To me, so I like the figures. I hate the fact that we're getting more and more exclusives because now Walmart, for whatever reason, has been pretty difficult too. Now I've apparently have secured all these through Walmart online pre-orders, but I've secured Walmart online pre-orders before and they've never come.
Yeah, I was like,
So
good luck with that.
yeah, in the vintage collection, I'm super choosy with. Like, I get Mandalorian stuff for like because I'm gonna try to have a cool Razor Crest display, and then I'll collect carded Return of the Jedi stuff just because it's Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the only vintage collection that I bother with, and I'm not even really up to date. I didn't collect the vintage collection when it started. I wish I would have. When I see some of the prices that some of the stuff goes for, but you know, the Black Series I'm going to try for, and the retro figure. They had a Darth Vader, I think, 2 years ago that was like this too, and it was a cool exclusive. But I certainly don't need it. But for people that want that having it be a Boba Fett's a great choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have no problem with any of these. I will say just the number of announcements, given it was May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th and all that, like it was pretty pitiful. I'm not sure if that's just because they don't have a lot that's ready to be shown, or they're trying to hold off so they have more for Comic-Con, or if maybe they shit the bed and they should have waited to reveal the Clone Wars figures until now. Like,
yeah. I mean, those would have been cool to at least talk about. I mean, we all knew they were coming. And again, I guess because they weren't going to go on pre-order or whatever, I don't really even know what that whole situation is. But yeah, and then they only gave us one pipeline reveal, which was for Omega, for the Bad Batch, which kind of brings me to my other kind of annoyance point, I guess. But I don't know. You'd think that when the Bad Batch was started, you would have kind of aligned that up with having the entire team out. Not like we got 2 that are out in the wave that's currently hitting stores, but then one of the other ones doesn't come for another couple of months, and then the 4th one doesn't come for even a couple more months after that. So it's it
is very odd. Planned better. Like, I feel like with Mandalorian, for the most part, the main cast was out pretty quick.
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, really, the Mandalorian was out even before the show hit. So
yeah, so like, yeah, there were some things like I feel like the Child didn't come out until maybe season 2, but beyond that,
that was on purpose because they didn't want to reveal that.
But like everything else was relatively like soonish for when the show aired. So the fact that they're waiting so long, I'm not sure if that's just production issues or if it was intentional, because I can't imagine at this point that any of those like main characters are really spoilers.
Right.
Between the trailers and everything that's come out. So, like, it's just like, okay, I guess you didn't want to devote an entire wave to it because you were afraid that, it's based off the, cartoon property, not off the, like, what's going on with the movies and TV shows. So it might not do as well as a wave. But, like, I can't imagine it doing worse than the endless, like, Quill and, I can't remember the other guy, the guy who gives him all of his bounties.
Grief
Karga. I see both of them warming pegs everywhere at this point. So like I can't imagine the Bad Batch figures doing much worse than that.
Nope.
Especially when they're all just badass clone troopers. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't add up to me. And one thing I that really just find odd to me is some of the choices of these characters. Because, I mean, some of them are obviously, like, re-releases, one, to get, more money out of those molds, and also to get them for people who like to army build or people who maybe missed out on them first time. Like, Tusken Raiders, do as many as you want. Like, I feel like those will always sell because people love to army build and people constantly miss out. Off-World Jawa, I feel like that was like a year ago, wasn't it? Or maybe 2 years ago that we got that already, like, before?
Well, they did a Black Series 1, and then there's a Off-World Jawa like leader that's coming with the Razor Crest. That was one of the stress goals. So the reason that they put this out then was so then you could army build.
That makes more sense now. Yeah, so it was like that. I knew we got the Black Series, but I remember seeing a Vintage Collection one, but I couldn't remember where. So that makes more sense that it was with the Razor Crest. And then Tebow, the Ewok, I'm like, I can't imagine there's a lot of people army building there. Are you a Ewok army builder?
I'm not an Ewok army builder, but I will buy, and I have almost every Ewok figure that's been made.
Of,
I love them.
of course you do. That doesn't
Love
surprise me
them.
one bit.
But I would, and in their defense, though, on these, most of these, especially with like I know the Endor Luke and the Death Star droid and the Tusken Raider for sure. I don't know about Tebow. Like I said, I didn't collect it, the vintage line from the very beginning. But these are what's called the original 96. So for people who are collecting, the card backs or in the figures, they want a complete vintage collection version of the original vintage line. So there was 96 figures in that original collection. So there's still a few of them they haven't done.
That makes a lot more sense.
Basically what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, that makes way more sense because I'm just like, why the fuck do we need an Endor Luke? Like, I feel like we get so many Lukes as it is, and they're all so lackluster because for whatever reason, no one can capture Mark Hamill's appearance at all. Like, he's got one of them faces.
They're burning through them too because like these 3 are Walmart exclusives, and then the last 3 from last month or maybe a month before that, they were also Walmart exclusives for the original 96. So it's like we need to get these done so these people shut up. Just send them to Walmart.
It makes sense. I like it. Send them to Walmart.
Yeah.
And before we move on, I'm trying to make sense of this Boba Fett. Like it's supposed to be a prototype, but I've never seen a prototype where every piece is a different color. Usually it's like, okay, you've got some pieces that are different colors because that's the base color that they're painting on top of, but this is literally like all of the Captain Planet tiers have shown up to make this Boba Fett.
Yeah, so there is some precedence to this. So when they will do, like when companies will do like an initial, it's more like a test than it is a prototype. A prototype they'll kind of kit bash something together, but this is more like a test, and they'll just take whatever plastic is available and run them through the tooling and make the mold, and as the molds are made, and they'll test it, and then they'll assemble the figure, and it looks like this. It's a whole bunch of random colors because they're really just testing the molds.
Yeah, like I've seen that stuff, but usually they're not like this drastic. Usually it's like a bunch of shades of like grays and beiges and stuff. It's never like a fucking Skittles bucket.
I think they're definitely trying to push and sell the what they're doing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Usually there's like 3 colors that are very similar and then one that's kind of off or something like that. But yeah, they're just trying to make this as visually appealing as you can.
Yeah, because I know
these aren't for me.
Yeah, like I know prototypes and test shots and all that. Like I've seen them in person. Like I've been to collectible shops that they have them, and they're like, this one's like $300 and all this. I'm like, I don't need it that bad. But it just threw me off because I'm like, those are always just like very similar shades of the same colors. Where this is very much so like Taste the Rainbow Boba Fett, and it looks cool.
Now,
but I just selling it as prototype Boba Fett makes no sense to me.
Yeah, if I see it, I'll buy it.
Doesn't surprise you one bit.
No, I'll buy it. I'm not gonna look for it.
That's reasonable. I can't blame you there. But that is it for the news, which means it's time for Turtle Watch 2021.
What?
Oh wow, that was. I guess it was something. Nothing too crazy this week.
We got some decent stuff this week, but let's admit it. Last week was the big one. So
last week was definitely big. We'll give you that. Definitely a less dramatic week. I'll say that. First, we got new photos of the upcoming NECA Target exclusive Muckman, now showing off the slime that he comes with, followed by some in-hand photos of Mondo Gecko from a comic book shop in Hong Kong. So I'm not gonna lie, I remember seeing the weird little like slime bucket it came with, but it never registered it was actually gonna be slime. And now it makes so much more sense. I think the only part of this that I like is just seeing Joey Eyeball like swimming in it in his trash can on his back. Beyond that, like I'm like, it doesn't seem practical with any of the other parts. Like I wouldn't want slime on my shelf because I feel like that's just asking for a mess that you don't want to deal with.
Oh, for sure. But that's the way the original figure was, so I love that they're doing it. I don't know, I mean, have they said whether or not it'll actually come with slime, or is it some sort of weird material that isn't actually slime?
I have to assume it's slime because in the actual like breakdown of like him and the accessories, there's this tiny bucket that's green
Okay.
that matches that slime. And that was originally what confused me. Like, what the fuck is that? He comes with a little green trash can. Like, it never made sense to
Mm-hmm.
me. So this makes sense now. So I have to assume it's going to be like actual slime, which is confusing because NECA's very much the cartoon. They're not the Playmates line because
Right.
Super 7's doing the Playmates line. So the fact they're going this route, I feel like was just like them having fun, being like, fuck it, let's do it kind of thing. Trying to justify it probably because since they had to break him and Mondo up, maybe trying to bring his cost up to be worth that $30 range so people didn't feel
Right.
gypped. Because let's face it, out of the two, I feel like Mondo definitely comes with a lot more accessories.
Right.
Um,
And we all laugh like we're gonna find these for $30.
I don't know, man. The individual figures seem to be better stocked than anything else.
I mean, admittedly, I haven't had to pay scalper prices for anything, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. It is definitely a nightmare. I still have not thank God for Jamar's wife. My YouTube wife's wife found me my set. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the disguised turtles because I went and they had stuff there, but it was not. I still have not seen those in person on a shelf at Target, or
Yeah.
had someone find them in the back at Target. Um, but like I remember with both Metalhead when I went, they had a lot of him. It went quick because I mean it was a big deal. It was Metalhead, and same thing with Android Body Krang. They had like 6 of him, and then he sold out, and then another 6 showed up. So it
Yeah.
feels like that
Those
$30
were
range.
relatively easy
Yeah, I feel like
in
Target.
comparison.
I feel like Target's just maybe a little less afraid of that $30 price point than they are of the $50 price point. Because I feel like they order
Could
a
be.
shit ton more of those than they do anything else. So I
Yeah.
have faith. I don't need either of them because at this point I might pick up another set of disguised turtles just so I can have one set in coat and one set out of coat. Just because those new head sculpts are just too perfect that I'm just like I can't decide. Um,
Right.
but beyond that, aside from dios and vehicles, I'm done. My hands are clean. There's not a
Mm.
single figure they could do to pull me
Mm.
into this shit show. So I just casually looking for everyone else.
And there's not a single figure either. It's normally 2-packs that they offer up every Friday for a ridiculous price, and I buy them.
You got me. You got me there. Not a single figure. But yeah, I mean, Mondo's box looks cool.
Yeah.
The fact that it,
All those single boxes are great.
yeah, soon tight again. Um, apparently you're allergic to my bullshit. Yeah, they're both cool. I look forward to at least looking for them for you and Jamar and Wes and everybody.
Right. I
So,
appreciate that.
so I'll see them in person probably for when that'll be it when I'm actually looking for everyone else's stuff is when I'll find them in full. Versus
Well, I'll make you a deal. I mean, if you find them for me, you can review them first and then send them my way.
my
So,
man, I appreciate you. Normally,
yes.
normally I'd just make Jamar have to suffer through that, but you've already offered, so you've got co-host of
I'm
the year
okay with
written
it.
all over you.
What can I say?
You're earning that majority custody that we have of you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's it for Turtle Watch. So all that's left is weekly purchases, and I'm gonna get mine out of the way because I don't have a weekly purchase for myself. I'm gonna show off 2 things here. First, I'm gonna show off a few weeks back. I showed that I finally picked up a Zoids model kit. I'm showing
Nice.
that I have officially finished it.
Ooh.
It's technically not finished because, granted, it's in Japanese, so I don't know if it actually tells me this. But there's some parts where it's like, see all these blue pieces? They are
Uh-huh.
actual separate pieces that clip on. But then there's like a third of the fins that are supposed to have that, but they want you to paint it. And they give you like the ingredients of what paints to use with how much percentage you need of each paint to create that shade of blue to paint it. And I'm like, you can go fuck yourself in every language of the
why
rainbow.
didn't you do it?
Yeah, like you literally made clip-on pieces for every other single one of these pieces, but you couldn't do it for like the last 5 fins. Like, fuck you.
Oh, that's crazy.
And the other thing I found today, I was out and about, and I picked up for my buddy Cody the Rasputin and Genghis 2-packs. So, gonna be sending that off to him. The frogs are cool. They had a second set. I texted you. You had already broke down and got it for yourself. So you were safe. Wes and Jamar already had them. I almost picked it up for myself just to get the little like disguise
Yes.
thing, because I'm like, that'd be funny to put on like Michelangelo in his trench coat. But I'm like, I'm not spending $55 to get that, and then having to try to find someone who wants to buy each of the frogs for like 25 each to justify my purchase. Like, no, 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 no.
I'm always amazed at your control. I don't have that, so
I, I'm not gonna lie, it took a lot. Like, especially because,
I,
especially how long because
I was like not gonna get these. I was like, I don't really care.
yeah, I remember you being like, I have no interest in them. I'm like, oh,
Yep.
I know how he is, so I'm gonna message him anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. My whole haul today is stuff I never had interested in before. So
Let's see all the stuff that you didn't want, because
all right,
I'm done.
Well, we'll
I
start
got
out with the
nothing.
stuff I definitely wanted. So speaking of, I did get this week. My
Very nice.
original Son Gohan that I ordered. So this is now my second one. He did not end up in the ocean. So I was all excited because I saw a premium Bandai shipment, and I was like, ooh, Raditz is coming.
Right.
I was so excited. And then I got the notification that it was here, and I go out and I opened the box, and this little shit was in there, and I was like, damn it. Because I already have them.
Yeah.
It's a great figure, don't get me wrong, but I already have them.
Yeah, because we got that great deal from that overseas seller.
Yep. So, and I said if I did end up getting it, it wasn't going to be as big of a deal because I could do both heads and that sort of thing. But still, I was hoping I'd get Raditz before I would get him, because I did open Bardock finally, and I love it. It's really cool. So my next one here, I sent like myself a midweek Big Bad Toy Store shipment just so these arrived in good shape. So I have here the Bill and Ted phone booth.
That's cool.
The way this is boxed, I'm probably going to open this because it looks like it can go right back in the box. I think it's incredibly expensive for what it is.
That looks like a lot of packaging.
Yeah, I thought I paid 40. Somebody else told me it was 50, and I don't want to look, because if I paid 50 for this,
you're gonna hate yourself a little more.
Yeah. So then, but along with those, I did get the Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey versions. Just like my Excellent Adventure versions, these will not be opened. And the only reason for that is because, one, they do look really great on card.
They do.
And then the other thing is, they are not good figures out of the box.
Yeah,
so
they look like they're very lackluster, probably not a lot of articulation.
Yeah, they're not great. These kind of remind me a bit of the more recent, like, Loyal Subjects figures.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So they're not as detailed as I would like. So they're going to stay like this. And I'm working on a Bill and Ted display for all my stuff. So, because I do have I don't know if I've ever told you, but I have a complete line of the vintage Kenner figures. None of them carded, but all loose.
Nice.
But in excellent shape. So that was a really fun one to track down. And then that was what I got earlier. And then today I got a Big Bad Toy Store order dropped off. I did have it's actually some stuff for my wife for Mother's Day. I got the 10-inch Babu Frick, which is now sitting in the box, the pop.
Okay.
But then the most recent wave of Super Mario for her.
Okay, I was very confused for a moment there.
Yeah, no, these aren't for me. There's a Goomba over there too. She already has the Goomba, and she already has the Koopa Paratrooper, but you can army build those. The Mario is, as different as it's going to get. It's an orange Yoshi as compared to, any other color, and then the Larry is new. But it was just easier than trying to track them down. And honestly, the whole assortment was cheaper on Big Bad than it was, buying them separately. So
that's surprising.
So I'm a fan of the comic book Hack Slash, and a company, I don't even know what company this is, Collectible Legends, released a figure of the main character, Cassie Hack. The pictures on Big Bad Toy Store looked terrible. Just terrible. But I was a fan, so I ordered it. And honestly, in hand, I don't think it's that bad. I'm gonna take it out of the box, play around with it, see how it is. It doesn't look great, but it was $20.
At that point, it's a little more figurable if it's not the like outstanding kind of thing.
Yep. And then my bizarre choice, because I have fallen deeper in this hole of change bots than I thought ever possible. So I picked up Springer from the Siege line. The reason I got him though is because he was a character within the 86 movie and the later seasons. And then I also got the Studio Series Bumblebee Cliff Jumper, because I do love that movie. And then also from Bumblebee, the second version of Shatter, which becomes the plane instead of the car.
Okay.
And then 2 old-ass Transformers. Not old, too old. These are from like 2014 or whatever, but they were super cheap on Big Bad Toy Store. So I just bought them because I'm actually transforming them. Are you proud of me?
I am.
I'm actually like changing them and changing them back. And
then regretting it because you're like, that's a lot of work.
No,
is it not as bad as Megatron?
Figured out on my own, and going more. But then the big one in here, I wanted to get this. I love these brown box ones. So this is the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime and Ratchet. They're releasing more of the Shattered Glass, which that whole storyline kind of started with the Transformers fan club way back when. But it basically just flips it, and that the Autobots are bad and the Decepticons are good.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about these, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've seen someone post the Megatron one, which I thought was weird.
Pulse is doing an exclusive line, and I was like, well, if I'm going to get those, which I did, I wanted to show this one off too, so I thought this was pretty cool. And then right after I got this, it sold out, so I was like, that was a good choice.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, Purple Optimus, kind of sexy.
You're not kidding. And that's it. That is it.
Are you sure?
That's it.
Don't want to check any cabinets or anything? Make sure everything's good?
No, this stuff was all from previous weeks. I just threw it up there so it looked like there was
I figured it was a mix of showing your former weekly purchases from your 4 weeks off and also having a backdrop since your current setup is under construction. Yep.
So, literally, they were doing jackhammers this week. That was
a
blast. There's like an inch of dust everywhere that we wanted to wait until they're totally done, but I got to start deep cleaning because but
that's rough.
It's all for the best. It's all for the good. The toy museum will be up and running, and then by the beginning of next year, I will have a upstairs office as well for work, and so I'll have some of my high-end stuff up in there.
Very, very nice. Can't wait to see those. You have to make sure to send pictures so we can post them on Instagram and Twitters.
Absolutely.
All I want to say before we go, though, is thank God this was your week, because I had nothing for weekly purchases, so I saved that segment.
Really, thank God that the FedEx man dropped stuff by, because I really didn't have all that much.
Yeah, so. Even anything in that one, because like I said, the one was just me finishing my model, and the other was something I bought for someone else, so I even a little bit would have been anything at that point. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I had like 2 or 3 things charged from Big Bad this morning when I woke up. I'm like, really? You couldn't have fucking done that last week so they would have shown up in time? Like, it drives me crazy.
I had a whole bunch of stuff show up today because I had 3 of the 4 comic Black Series figures come in. The Darth Maul, the Jackson the Rabbit.
Where'd you pre-order these from?
Big Bad.
Fuck that shit. They just charged me today.
Yeah, well, I didn't get them today.
Oh, okay.
I just got them.
I got you today. Okay.
Yeah, no.
I was about to be like, son of a bitch, they fucking just charged me.
No, I literally just got charged today too. So those are in my pile of loot today. So I got everybody but Luke, and then 2 of the Bad Batch wave is in my pile of loot today too. So it's weird. I got the Bo-Katan weeks ago from that same wave, but I'm just now getting the 2 Bad Batch, and I still need a Saz Ventress. I got the Clone Trooper a couple weeks ago too, but since these are all coming from Big Bad, I know it's weird. They get cases of some, then they get assortments of others. So, and I ordered the Bad Batch ones. I pre-ordered them late in the game. I ordered Bo-Katan the day it went up for pre-order, and then I didn't order the rest of them at Big Bad until a couple weeks later. So I'm not surprised that I haven't gotten them.
That makes sense. Yeah, I've got shirtless Darth Maul, and then I've got the Crimson comic book one. It's not Chris, it's Connor, right?
Yeah.
because they labeled it as crisp, but they fucked it up and it's the opposite, which
Yep.
I really hope that they then just lean into it and give us the box for the other one, because
Yeah.
I
And then you
have
can
no
just
interest
pop
in.
it out the bottom and put
Yeah.
it in the other. And
I
yeah,
have no
it's just,
interest in keeping them in the box, but I'd at least like maybe put the boxes behind because I love those old comic books. So
it's a really cool way of doing it. I like this because I liked that, even though it was like kind of at the wrong time. That Skywalker Strike set that they did a
mhm.
couple years ago was cool. It came out at the exact same time as the regular retail version of that figure, and there really wasn't enough difference there. But
Yeah.
I really hope they do more comic stuff, because there's some great characters, especially more from the Marvel ones, than just Jackson, which I am thrilled to be getting,
Yeah.
by the way. But I would love to see them do more like this. I think that would be a fun series for them to continue.
Yeah, me too. I really wanted to get that Luke, but like they were just so lazy with it. I don't want to support them.
They were, admittedly. I can't
Yeah.
defend that.
I mean, if I could at least find like a belt with more pouches or something to customize it and
Yeah.
fix it to like what they should have done, maybe I consider it. But until then, I refuse to give them my money, because one of my favorite storylines that from the comics, and they fucking shit the bed on the figure.
Man, I can't say I blame you.
But that is going to be it for this week's Modern Toy Fair news. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and find us out on Reddit. Jamar's not here, so I'm going to plug his stuff so I don't get complained at. Make sure to check out Why Are You a Gamer? He is also on YouTube under the same name, Why Are You a Gamer, for everything from, eventually he'll actually have the podcast up there where he talks to people about why they're gamers, and he also has different clips of different video games that he plays with and without me. And then if you just want to listen to the podcast by itself, it is available on all major platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that jazz. So let's get an update on our wager. Where's Figuratively Speaking podcast, Nate? It's May. How are we getting?
It's happening in May.
All
So
right.
we're gonna be doing. We've decided to not do any virtual recording. They kind of really told me that ultimately the whole point was that we did it live. We've gone this far, so we are actually going to resume live person recording. I'm looking at a calendar right now. It's going to be the week of the 17th.
Okay.
I don't know which day specifically it'll be, but we're going to be doing it the week of the 17th. So I hope we'll probably record it and then kind of drum up some attention to it before we release it.
Makes sense.
Because it'll have been,
a year.
I went back
Over a
and I
year.
listened. The last show was like towards the end of January, and we talked about how there wasn't going to be the schedule was going to be rocky because of one of Corey's situations, and we had no idea it was going to be a year and a half almost later before we got it back on track.
Yeah, it definitely just kind of everything from last year, it unraveled, and all of us felt it. Yeah, I can't wait for that to come back. They'll have to figure out how the things will work when you eventually have me as a guest to come in and gloat about how I stole
We'll
you
still
away.
be able to do that virtually. We're going to have to, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so excited for that. Make sure to check out Figuratively Speaking. It's on, again, all the major platforms, and you guys have your own website, don't you, that you have it up on?
Yeah, figspeakpodcast.com, I believe. I'm going to double check that as I'm doing this.
While he double checks that,
believe...
they can also find them on Facebook, where they do have the website linked to their Facebook page, so you can click it there. That's how I originally found it and listened to it regularly on the website rather than hunting it down through podcast apps.
Figspeakpodcast.com. That's where everything is located. So
awesome.
I knew I was right.
So make sure to go check that out. For some reason you want to hear my lovely voice, you can check me out over on the Gimmick Minute Wrestling Podcast, where me, Jason, and Kevin shoot the shit on what's going on in the wrestling world that week. And if you'd like to support us here at our channel on Modern Toy Fair, you can click the links below, either for tpublic.com, where you can get different shirts with our logos and other designs on them, or any of the pre-order links on for Entertainment Earth, because those are our affiliate links, so we do get a little bit of kickback. Not sure on the exact amount because we just started it and most things are pre-ordered, so I have to assume that we won't see any money from it for a while, since they probably have to charge you first. As always, please make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more weekly toy news and even weekly action figure reviews that I do every Monday. Make sure to hit the little bell to get notifications when the videos go up. And If you don't want to see our beautiful faces, we do have an audio-only version of On Toyfare News, which is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and other podcast apps you know and love. So check that out, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Same toy time, same Toyfare channel. Thank you for watching.